Because you have to turn it up.
Oh, there you
That's
go.
why.
There you go. Now
Don't ask me why that was down.
You got sound now?
I don't have the foggiest of a clue.
Okay. All right. Yeah, Adam Black says, okay, let's read lips. That's what we're doing now.
I feel like we should probably start that over.
We probably should. Should we just...
let's just start it over.
Let's start it over.
Yeah.
Fuck it. We'll do it live.
He's a degenerate gambler.
You are a smelly pirate hooker.
And he's cheaper than oxygen.
He's useless.
But somehow, they make it work. Jeremy Greene, Tank Spencer. There's no holding back in the Sportsocracy. Presented by Ingles Supermarkets and Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville.
How's that do you?
Hey!
Does that work?
We turned it up the second time.
Yeah, there we go. Stephen Tao's happy. He's like, I'm not late now. Yeah,
Bingo.
I mean, that's, we're glad that could work out for you. Welcome into
Adam Black is saying he was planning on just writing what he thought we were saying.
Now that could be fun.
That could be fun.
Bad lip reading Sportsocracy. The comments notate what's happening on the program. That could be interesting.
Oh, absolutely. There's just not a lot of words that rhyme with damn it.
Welcome into the Ingles studio. It is a Wednesday. It's a mock draft Wednesday here in the Sportsocracy. No ESPN Asheville show, which, thank God, because that'd have been hell trying to start that over.
Just whoops.
Whoops, let's do it again. Yeah, no ESPN Asheville show today because the Braves baseball, so that means we get to say fuck words.
Shit!
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where we're at because we're 6.
But it's mock draft Wednesday because Jeremy has to mock draft. I mean, it's just 2 weeks into the college football season, and has anybody's draft stock risen or fallen?
Anthony Richardson. If you're still reading mock drafts that have him in the top 10, you should read smarter people.
Yeah.
Like me.
I don't get it. I just don't see it. I've seen so many mock drafts that have him as the first quarterback off the board. Excuse me?
Unless he has a picture of the GM of the Houston Texans blowing a horse, there is no shot he goes number 1.
No,
and that is as clearly as I can say that.
One. I've never seen him number 1, but I have seen him as the number 1 quarterback taken.
Okay, let me rephrase that. Unless he has a picture of the GM of the Houston Texans blowing a horse, there is no chance of him being the first quarterback, second quarterback, third quarterback to come off the board. Just not gonna happen.
Probably shouldn't be the 10th quarterback off the board.
I said
far?
yesterday he would be a great second-round pick in the CFL. Which is exactly where he belongs.
Okay.
Because he is bad.
So we're going to get to find out just where Jeremy's got everybody slated in the mock draft for this upcoming draft in April of next year.
Hey, it's never too early. All right? That's why it's called this. Never too early to mock draft.
Sure?
I'm positive. I'm 100% sure.
You've got it projected that the Houston Texans will have the number 1 pick.
And the order comes off the power rankings from yesterday.
Okay.
That is how I determined
it's a good model. It's a good model to go by. So with the first pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, the Houston Texans will select Bryce Young.
I don't agree.
Really?
I don't. I think they believe in Davis Mills.
Stop that.
I think they believe in Davis Mills.
I feel like that's an error in judgment, but, I mean, it is going to be a tough call for these teams to make at the top of the NFL draft because, yes, we might need a quarterback. Maybe we're not just desperately in need of a quarterback, which I could say that the Houston Texans might fall into that arena of, do we have to have one? You probably should, in my opinion, but if you don't, then you're going to get generational talent in Will Anderson.
And that's where I'm at with the Texans. I don't feel like they believe they are in dire need of a quarterback the way many of us feel.
Mm-hmm.
And Davis Mills was pretty good in week 1. I have long said he would have been the number 1 quarterback off the board in the last draft. And I still believe that.
Mm-hmm.
I think he is better than Kenny Pickett. I think he's better than Willie Willis. Sam Howell's close, but Sam Howell was my 1.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not as convinced that Houston is dead in the wool that they need a quarterback. So I love having buttons. First pick in the 2023 Never Too Early Mock Draft Volume number 2. It's Will Anderson.
Will Anderson.
I believe there will be teams that sell themselves on a quarterback. You also need to realize that the Texans have 2 picks in the first round.
Mm-hmm.
The difference between Will Anderson and the next best pass rusher and whatever quarterback you would get in this scenario at 13 is not that different. This is the best quarterback class I've ever evaluated. It's not close.
So the gap between Will Anderson and the next edge rusher
is drastically different.
Is huge compared to the quarterbacks.
Compared to the quarterbacks, yes.
Okay, all right. So getting Bryce Young at number 1, you could get a generational edge rusher and wait and get Will Levis, Tyler Van Dyke,
Correct.
Somebody like that at 13.
The difference between C.J. Stroud and Tyler Van Dyke is not nearly as vast as the difference between Will Anderson and Isaiah Foskey. That's a huge difference. Will Anderson's about as can't miss as they come.
Mm-hmm.
You will not see many players in the history of the NFL draft that are as can't miss as Will Anderson. The game against Texas notwithstanding. I just don't care. He a dog.
Okay. I can't disagree. He is a hell of a player. He's hella good, if you will.
Hella. He was a skater boy, said, see you later, boy.
He's pretty good. He's pretty good at the footballs. Number 2 pick, belonging to the Chicago Bears. Bears.
This is where it would get a little wild to me. You get Chicago at 2. What exactly are you going to do? And I have a funny feeling. You call me I'm crazy. You tell me I'm crazy. Go ahead and say it. Crazy. Second pick in the 2023 Never Too Early Mock Draft, Chicago Bears select Bryce Young.
So they will give up on Justin Fields.
Did Ryan Poles draft him?
No.
Was he good in week 1?
No.
Has he ever been good at any point?
No.
There you go. End the message, repeat the line. Justin Fields is not a good NFL quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like every scout I have ever talked to is in lockstep on that. The only people that aren't are delusional Bear fans. Well, but we won in a monsoon because he can kind of run. In terms of NFL arm, I've seen him throw 6+ passes in over a year. That's not going to preclude you from taking a quarterback, especially when your GM is not the one that took him.
Right. It makes all the sense in the world for them to go with a quarterback. It's not typically what you do. Of course, I said the same thing when the Kyler Murray Arizona thing was out there. It was like, they just took Josh Rosen in the top 10 last year. Why would they do that?
And to my knowledge, I was the first person to say that was coming. The Josh Rosen thing's not going to preclude shit. This is a different brain trust. This is a different everything.
Yep.
And that's how it works. Somebody like Ryan Poles, who, by the way, low-key did a great job in the last draft with people that fit what? The culture.
Mm-hmm.
Justin Fields doesn't fit the culture. Quarterback that loves turning the ball over, pouts on the sideline. That doesn't fit the culture.
Mm-hmm.
Bryce Young, to me, is a generational talent, especially now that he has picked up the ability and desire to actually take off and run.
Third pick in the draft belongs to the Atlanta Falcons.
Well, this one's not hard.
No, it's quarterback.
The one thing I will say, there is a thought out there. And to me, it's you're overreacting to one game against the Saints. Kamara was hurt. There were a lot of things that went into this. There is a thought that Marcus Mariota might actually end up getting a bag from Atlanta. But they know Desmond Ritter's not it.
Mm-hmm.
And he will not preclude them from doing. With the third pick in the Never Too Early mock draft, the Atlanta Falcons select C.J. Stroud.
C.J. Stroud, to me, is no doubt the second option in this class. Do you personally, as an evaluator, do you like Bryce or CJ better?
I like Bryce Young a little better.
A little better.
A little better.
Much.
It's not a huge difference. It's not a huge difference, but there is a difference between the two to me, especially if Bryce becomes a willing runner.
Mm-hmm.
One of my biggest knocks on him, and I've said it forever, and I've heard commentators say this during 10 Alabama games over the last year. Well, Bryce really doesn't like to take off out of the pocket. I don't like that.
Mm-hmm.
Don't do that. Don't do that. You have legs. You have wheels. Use them.
Mm-hmm.
And now, especially the first game, didn't see it as much against Texas, but Texas was just absolutely flying all over the place. So,
well, and you saw shades of it at the end of the game. I mean, it was Bryce Young evading the sack to be able to keep them in that ball game.
Mm-hmm.
And that kind of elusiveness, you want to see that more from your quarterback.
I do think there's a slight difference between Bryce Young and C.J. Stroud, but it's not drastic. I think Atlanta would walk away from this just absolutely ecstatic.
Nobody's going to be pissed. I don't think anybody's going to be pissed like, oh, I had to settle for C.J. Stroud. But I believe that there's a bit of a difference. Bryce Young, to me, is a nose in front.
Just a nose. And then there's a little bit of a drop-off to the next set of quarterbacks. Not a huge difference, but a slight drop-off.
Your Jets.
Jets, Jets.
Picking it fourth in this one, and you've got some great options here. You've got defensive weapons that you could go with. You've got offensive weapons.
There are players I like. I am not there on Paris Johnson yet. I don't believe he is a guy you take this early. If I was going to take a tackle, and I considered it, it would be Peter Skoronski of Northwestern.
Okay.
I think he falls in roughly where Rashawn Slater went. He's good, and he could end up being great.
Mm-hmm.
I just think 4's a little high when there is a player at the top of the board here that I think is a generational talent. Does he fit the biggest need? No, he does not. But he's so damn good. With the fourth pick in the never too early Volume 2 mock draft, the Jets select Jalen Carter.
Oh.
Sloan Jordan called it in the comments. He's a fellow Jets fan. You cannot bypass the ability to add a talent of that layer.
No.
Of that level.
Right. And you talk about somebody that can get pressure from the tackle position. Jalen Carter's got it for days. I have seen a lot of talk about Jalen Carter being the best player from last year's defense. Do you agree with that? Because I don't think I do. I think, to me, it's Jordan.
Probably do.
Really? I think
Jordan Davis never going to be the pass rusher that Jalen Carter is.
No. And they bring different things to the table, obviously. But with all the defensive players that Georgia had taken in the first round of the draft last year, and this is why I've always laughed when people, oh, you lost so much. Yeah, but look what else is left. You still have first-rounders galore on this defense, and, granted it hasn't been the stiffest competition and won't be for a while on the schedule, but this year's Georgia defense looks every bit as good as last year's.
It's very good, and I'm going to just ask you a question. What did Robert Saleh hang his hat on? How did he become an NFL head coach?
Defense.
Who drafted Zach Wilson? Joe Douglas. Who will still be the GM there.
That's what you're getting at. Okay.
You're not giving up on Zach Wilson.
Mm-hmm.
Has he been a little injury prone? He has. Do you need an offensive lineman? You do. There's not one that's worth it yet. There's not. I mean, you're going to see him. CBS put out a mock draft earlier. I had the Jets taking Paris Johnson at 2. I would probably absolutely lose my shit. You want to see me have a Brian Haynes moment? That is how that happens.
Not that he's a bad player.
No, he's just not. You leave Jalen Carter on the board to take a player that's far inferior.
Mm-hmm.
That's not what guys like Joe Douglas do. We do not do things like that. It's just that's the way Joe operates.
And think about how frightening that defensive front for the Jets could be. Jermaine Johnson comes into his own. Carl Lawson is the dude that we thought he was when he coming over from the Cincinnati Bengals. And you got Jalen Carter next to Quinnen Williams. How are you going to stop him?
It becomes absolutely terrifying.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that now you have a front four that is just the big, scary wolf that hides under your bed. And I'm going to be honest with you, I already think the defense is good. I think the defense is already good.
They looked good against the Ravens at times.
4 of the starting 11 players were in the top 10 at their position in the NFL among PFF grades.
Wow.
Quinnen Williams, Quan Alexander, Sauce Gardner, and DJ Reed. You want to hear the list of corners that were rated above DJ Reed?
Yeah.
You want to hear it again?
Oh,
there it is.
There
it is. There it is. That's the thing I do.
Jacksonville Jaguars.
Jacksonville is one of the hardest teams for me, at least in this exercise, because I can't really figure out. There are a lot of players that would fit. Would you like to have the no doubt number one guy with Trevor Lawrence? Do you want to add a piece to the defense? And this is, you call it a gut call of what I believe? If this kid ran faster, this wouldn't sound as weird as it's going to sound. But with the 5th pick in the never too early mock draft, the Jacksonville Jaguars select Michael Mayer, tight end from Notre Dame.
A tight end in the top 5?
He's that good. He's legitimately that good.
All right.
He's Kyle Pitts good. He's not Kyle Pitts fast.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what some people, he's that good. He immediately comes into this league and is a top 7 tight end in the league. And I'm sure somebody will say, but what about Jackson Smith and Jigba? Already got injury issues. Kayshon Boutte, between the ears. I can keep doing this.
Mm-hmm.
The receivers, I feel like there are enough of them that they're going to fall a little bit. Michael Mayer is without a doubt the number 1 tight end on the board. And for me, I said this about Kyle Hamilton last year, he's the 4th best player in this draft.
Okay.
He is a dog.
It's a bit of a surprise to me. You don't obviously see tight ends taking this.
And he can actually legitimately block, too.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to tell you he's George Kittle, but he can do it. He's a willing blocker.
Right.
That term that I absolutely fucking despise.
Now, can he live up to the hype? Because, I mean, to be taken in the top 5, you have to be damn good.
There have
or
only
you're
been
going
a few.
to be crucified.
There have only been a few, and I think he can be that good.
Remember Detroit Lions and Eric Ebron.
That was a 10.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. Even when you're taken even in the top 10, you have to come in and be immediately great.
Eric Ebron also could not play dead in a Western.
Now, he could catch. He had great hands.
He could kind of catch.
He was the most athletic tight end in that draft class by far.
Yeah. So he was real fast.
Mm-hmm.
Good for you.
I'm just saying.
Doesn't do it for me. But now Michael Mayer is a guy that I legitimately think can come into this league and get into that Mark Andrews, George Kittle, Travis Kelce range. Mm-hmm. I think he's that good.
All right, it's time. Go ahead and give it to us. The quarterback, that will be taken by the Carolina Panthers.
With the 6th pick, the Carolina Panthers select Will Levis, quarterback, Kentucky. The raw on him is absolutely intoxicating. And let me make a sweeping declaration to you right motherfucking now.
Okay.
The next head coach of the Carolina Panthers is Ken Dorsey.
Really? All right.
Trust me. They know what they did. They know what they did letting him get out the door.
Mm-hmm.
And that will be the next coach of this team.
And that will be a great marriage with him and Will Levis.
Absolutely. In our YouTube comments, Patrick Holtz had you just gave me a heart attack when you dropped the F-bomb. Didn't realize you weren't on radio. Yeah, we can just go fuckity fuck. And it feels good.
I still had to I still had to look to make sure.
I'm not going to lie.
Double check.
I've looked 6 or 7 times.
Discount double check.
Evan Doyle asked, are we pro Walter football mock drafts?
No, I'm not.
I'm pro Walt and Charlie because I know them. So,
but still, I mean, I just feel like in recent years those have become awful.
Number one most accurate mock drafter most accurate mock drafter in the media the last 3 years is Charlie Campbell.
Oh,
Walt has dipped off, but they're bright cats, right. And they're well connected. And am I a little biased because I do know them? Maybe.
I think so. I mean, I think there are some good things. There are some good things that they provide.
I think the site's fantastic. They just need somebody that can.
It's glitchy as shit.
Well, no, it's just there's a lot of shit.
Right, it's overloaded.
It's overloaded
it
to
takes
high
forever on my
holy
browser.
hell.
It's the one thing that I hate about that website.
Oh yeah, it is overloaded to high holy hell. But
because it's got to load every mock draft from the last 55 years.
Yeah, you probably should stop doing that. But I mean, when you've been as accurate as they are, I'm not shocked that you want to go, hey, freaking scoreboard.
Mm-hmm. All right, so they're still pretty accurate.
Go to our YouTube page. Trust me, I'll still go scoreboard.
Yeah, you're always going to find issues with mock drafts that are out there.
I mean, people have issues with mock drafts. I do.
This will, well, I mean, yeah, there's always going to be disagreement. Let's see. I'm going to look right now, and let's see where they have Anthony Richardson, because this is basically what I've been testing all of my early opinions on mock drafts of how high you have Anthony Richardson going in the first round, because I don't think I've seen a mock draft yet that doesn't have him going in the first round. And yep, see, stupid, 6.
And you would be shocked if a team fell for that, because I'll go ahead and tell you I wouldn't. It wouldn't shock me in a friggin' least.
Do you really want to sign up for that is my question.
But see, you're falling into that.
Do you have the plan?
You're falling into that. I know it's a bad idea.
Mm-hmm.
You know it's a bad idea.
Mm-hmm.
I knew Josh Rosen was a bad idea. I knew Baker Mayfield was a bad idea. We're now on our second team that has fallen on that sword.
Is the team going to look at Anthony Richardson and go, yeah, I want to have the Jalen Hurts experience?
Probably not the comparison I would make.
And he doesn't even have the arm that Jalen Hurts has.
No, he's got a much bigger arm than Jalen Hurts. It's just horribly inaccurate, and he makes bad decisions. I won't be shocked if Anthony Richardson goes in the top 10. It's just going to be to a stupid team, and I can't do that right now. So we're way too early.
All right.
Adam Black asked, since we just picked for the hometown in Carolina, how far does Matt Rule make it?
Oh, I think he's got 5 games left in him.
Let's take a gander at the schedule. I do find it funny that there are people calling for the upset of the Carolina Panthers beating the New York Giants. Upset.
The upset. I don't think that word means what you think it means.
I don't think you understand what the word upset means. Looking at the schedule, yikes. Where's the bye week? The bye week is the week after Thanksgiving. He ain't making it that far.
Mm-mm.
I will say he gets shit canned when they lose to the Atlanta Falcons at home on Thursday Night Football, November the 10th. I'll say he makes it a week 10.
Okay.
And at that point, they're 1, 2, and a lot. They're 2-8.
Well, I mean, you lose to the Giants. If you lose to the Cardinals, you're gonna be 0-7.
Mm-hmm. I mean, and they might fire him on a short week. The problem is, who do you turn to? I mean, look at the staff. The staff is dog water.
I mean, they'll do the same thing that every team does. You turn it over to the sacrificial lamb. You already hired him. You just hired him this offseason. It's Ben McAdoo. You hand him the reins for the last, whatever, how many ever games are left on the schedule. If it's weeks, after 7 games, you got 10 games left. Congratulations, Ben McAdoo. You're going to be back on the unemployment line real soon.
Sloan Jordan had to throw this out there as a fellow Jet fan like me. Said, remember when Matt Rule was supposed to be the next coach of the Jets and he left because we wouldn't let him make the same dumbass decisions he's made with the staff in Carolina?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I do. I do remember that. I remember it quite fondly. And I was one of the ones that was mad.
And Adam Black is 100% correct.
And then, Matt Rule goes to Nebraska.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He goes to Nebraska and becomes their new little darling of, hey, look, see, he turns around programs in 3 years.
He's a great recruiter, and he loves corn. I wonder if he knows that song that's trending on TikTok. Have you heard the corn song?
No.
Oh, God, it's awful. Oh, God, it's awful.
It's about corn or it's
about
by
corn? No, it's about corn.
Oh. I was like, did Jonathan Davis drop another banger and I didn't hear it?
It would only be nominally worse if it was by corn. Oof, it's awful.
Sing
It's
it.
bad. No, not doing it.
Sing it.
Not doing it because it gets stuck in my head. It's awful. Go on TikTok, search corn. Trust me, you'll find it in no
I
time.
don't wanna. You can't.
Although I will say, if you search corn on TikTok, you're going to find some things that you probably do like.
Mm-hmm. Urban Meyer. You want to put that to bed? Urban Meyer taking the Nebraska job?
That's not as out to lunch as you think.
Really?
Who's going to hire him? After the Jacksonville thing, he's a fucking pariah. And Nebraska might just be the school that goes, oh, we'll do it. Oh, we'll do it. We'll do it. We'll do it. Oh, we want to love you so much.
Are they that desperate?
Oh, God, yeah. Oh, God, yeah. They're 100% that. Name me that.
Well,
Dave Doran.
I can't wait. If that happens, then I can't wait for everybody to bring up his post-firing press conference where he said we want to bring in a high-character guy. It was the first thing out of his mouth was, we're going to bring in a high-character guy. And I went, oh, well, Urban Meyer's got to be off the list. Yeah, we'll wait and see.
Sloan knew what I knew about knew what I meant about the corn song. It has the juice.
It has the juice. I'm not going to do it. As many times as you tease it, I'm not going to.
Oh, don't worry. As soon as this is over, I'm going to play it over the loudspeaker in here. It'll be stuck in your head until, I don't know, you die.
All right, so we left off with the Carolina Panthers taking the quarterback, Will Levis, out of Kentucky. Kentucky more known to lay fans as the run team. Their run team played great defense. Mark Stoops, that's kind of his shtick. I feel like the average fan probably doesn't know how good Will Levis is at the NFL things.
He has a cannon. And I feel like Ken Dorsey is going to look at him and go, oh, you remind me of somebody that I just won a Super Bowl with.
Mahomes?
No, I mean a year from now when he's the reigning, defending Buffalo Bills offensive coordinator after they win a Super Bowl.
Oh, I was thinking of Kafka anyway. Working in Kansas
Also
City
going to be a
with
head
Mahomes.
coach in this league at some point.
Mm-hmm. All right. After the Panthers, it's the Dallas Cowboys.
The Dallas Cowboys. Yeah, this one's not hard to me. With the 7th pick, the Dallas Cowboys select Jackson Smith and Jigba.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to figure out real fast that not having Amari Cooper on the other side of CeeDee Lamb makes it real easy to defend this team. But Michael Gallup takes the top off. Let's actually see him on a field before you hypothesize that at me one more time.
You could see it this week.
And Jarrah absolutely loves taking big-name receivers, and that's what he is.
Mm-hmm. You want to get the most out of Dak Prescott, have all the weapons.
I mean, you're going to have to.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have to.
Dak is, and I've always felt this way about Dak, that he is as good as his weapons are. CeeDee Lamb, absolutely love to me. I think he's a no doubt one in this league. I feel the way about CeeDee Lamb as you do about Michael Pittman. There is no doubt the talent this kid has. He can be the next big thing.
But he also can't be the only receiver on the team.
Which
is where he's at right now.
And Jackson Smith and Jigba would give the Dallas Cowboys that little extra kick in the ass that offense needs to get the most out of Dak Prescott. So, great pick. What are the Seahawks going to do? Quarterback?
Fourth quarterback in the top 8 with the 8th selection. The Seattle Seahawks select Tyler Van Dyke, quarterback, Miami. And I will say, there has been some gnashing of teeth with him after the Southern Miss game because it was a disaster in large part.
Mm-hmm.
But I think he'll be fine. Miami's one of my favorite picks of the week this week. I think they go into College Station and absolutely kick the shit out of Texas A&M. I keep looking every time I say obscenities. I just have to look and make sure.
He's going to look. Hey, are we still good? Are we still good? Yeah, we're still good.
Yeah, we're still good. You know what that means? Shit! Mm-hmm. I love doing that. Tyler, there is a quarterback that I think is sneaking up, and you will hear his name quicker than you think.
Okay. What does Tyler Van Dyke bring to an NFL team?
He's got a little bit of everything. He's kind of a jack of all trades, master of none, and that's the reason I think he's the perfect fit in Seattle because he's one of those guys that I think is going to have elite weapons around him, but he's just mobile enough. He kind of fits into that Russell Wilson category of you do everything well enough. And watching how little Pete Carroll seems to really care about quarterbacks, I kind of think that's the perfect one for him. Everybody wants to give them Anthony Richardson. That would be a marriage made in hell. A quarterback that is that bad at making decisions with a 71-year-old quarterback, he might actually have a heart attack on the field.
Mm-hmm.
If he doesn't, he will have a full-on infarction, which is one of my favorite words in the English language.
Yes, we know. We know.
It's a great word. Great word.
The New England Patriots have the 9th pick in the draft.
They do, and they have one prevailing above all else need.
A weapon.
And it just so happens that there's one here. When people see this name, they're going to get a little shocked. But, what about? Yeah, about that. With the 9th pick in the never too early mock draft, the New England Patriots select Quentin Johnson, wide receiver, TCU.
Okay.
But what about Keyshawn Booty?
Uh-huh.
Oh, wait. Just since it's here, I got to do it.
Prison booty. Booty was more important than food. A man's butt.
The Florida State game is going to push him down a little bit.
Okay.
Especially with somebody like Bill. You can't watch somebody be that petulant on a sideline and it not push you down. Now, the better question is, what is it that has pushed Quentin Johnson? Because there are a ton of receivers in this class.
Mm-hmm. One of them won the Biletnikoff last year, and you think could be a national champion.
I do, but I think he's going to get pushed down by the weapons around him. Jordan Addison did not have top 10 written on him when he left Pittsburgh. He's going to put up stupid numbers at USC. But if you really watch that and really think about it, it shouldn't be that impressive to you. Lincoln Riley's playing chess, not checkers. So I could see a path that some teams are not as in love with him as others. Now, he's not going to sit on the board for very long. Quentin Johnson is the true, no doubt, this is the deep threat. To me, second best deep threat in this draft behind Jackson Smith and Jigba. And I'm not sure that I'm not going to end up liking him better. The problem is he doesn't really have a quarterback. So you're going to have to get a little I'm giving Bill credit here. All right, all the New England Patriots fans that say I bash Bill constantly, I'm giving credit because this is one of those picks that I'll jump on the table and go, yep, you got that right.
Mm-hmm.
You remember when DK Metcalf went to the combine and just blew it out of the water and everybody went, how the fuck did he fall in the second round?
Mm-hmm.
That's why Quentin Johnson won. Johnston. I keep leaving off the T. That's why he won't. He is a freak of nature and fast as hell. He is everything that the New England Patriots need. And I think he is a player that is going to go higher than people think.
Clearly, by being the 9th pick in the
I'm not even the
2023
highest on him.
draft.
If I'm not, either Walter or Charlie have him at 8. I'm just telling you. That's a name that when you talk to people in the NFL, you hear it all the time.
At number 10, the Arizona Cardinals.
For Arizona, you got to be sitting here going, well, this just worked out quite nicely because there's a slew of players that fit our team quite nicely. I mean, all the defensive players have been pushed down other than Will Anderson, which I find to be
It's a great opportunity for them to, add a playmaker to the secondary.
Well, one of the things that you have to think about with Arizona, more than likely you're going to be doing this without Cliff Kingsbury. More than likely.
Mm-hmm.
And so I could see not a complete overhaul, but I could see this team looking very different. That being said, the thing to me that they do not have by any stretch of the imagination with the 10th pick, the Arizona Cardinals select Myles Murphy, edge rusher, Clemson.
Okay, need to get to the quarterback. Obviously, it's an important part of the game today. And who you got? You got 88-year-old J.J. Watt,
who seems to not play more often than he actually does.
Mm-hmm.
The best way to improve a secondary is throw some pass rush at it. And whoever takes this Cardinal team over is going to have to get incredibly creative because they have drafted very strangely. I mean, you think about the Isaiah Simmons and then Zaven Collins. So you got a lot of defensive players here that play very specific roles.
Mm-hmm.
The way to tie it all together is to have a pass rusher that you know exactly what he is. And when it comes to Myles Murphy, I know exactly what he is.
Myles Murphy out of Clemson. He is, he was a highly touted recruit coming out of high school, and he continues to be one of the best players in the ACC.
And the thing about Myles is that him falling to 10 is not an indictment of him. It's not an indictment of the tape. It's not an indictment of anything. It's just there are a lot of teams picking in front of you that either need quarterbacks or weapons. Mm-hmm. And so a player that good is going to fall. One of them is going to fall. It's just a question of who he is.
Right.
I couldn't have Jalen Carter falling past the Jets. I couldn't figure out a way that would happen. And so Myles Murphy is the one that falls. And now you get to another team that, weird. Just sitting here with a player on the board that seems like he fits your team quite nicely.
The New York Giants.
The Fighting Brian Hayneses. Biggest need for the New York Giants is what?
Oh, God. I don't know. Wide receiver?
I have set you up so nicely for this. I have set you up so nicely for this. Mainly because something I heard you say earlier that just trying to get it up on the screen because I want you. I want to.
Okay.
It's a lot of buttons. Nope. Don't look. Don't look at the screen. Don't look at the screen. I've screwed it up.
Are you talking to me or them?
I'm talking to you. They're going to see it anyway. I need you to not look at the screen.
Okay, I'm not looking at the screen.
The 11th pick, the New York Giants select Anthony Richardson.
Oh, Anthony Richardson.
I postured you for this. There's one guy that I look at and go, you can figure this out. You can figure this out.
It's Daboll.
And it's Brian Daboll. The physical talent alone is going to get him drafted.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you got to remember, this is me saying what I think's going to happen, not what I would do. I wouldn't touch Anthony Richardson in the first 3 rounds. No way, no how. The decision-making is piss poor, but then you get to the physical stature, and you get to how athletic this kid is, and you get to how much of an absolute pure superhuman athlete he is. He's going to go in the top 15. He's going to. We're not going to agree with it, but that's where I think you get lost of Well, if I see somebody put him in the top 10, they're stupid. No, they're doing a mock draft going, I've read this book before. Jamarcus, you remember what Jamarcus Russell got on the Wonderlic?
Yeah.
Drool. Didn't matter. Vince Young, dumb as fuck. Nobody cared.
Mm-hmm.
Because the physical talent just cures all.
Yeah.
And Anthony Richardson has a ton of talent. Now, what he doesn't have is a ton of football IQ, a ton of accuracy, a ton of other intangibles that you need with a quarterback. But you get to this point, he's fifth quarterback off the board.
Mm-hmm.
The Giants, without a doubt, are going to have a quarterback because Daniel Jones is terrible. So at 11, you look around and the talent's pretty good. The weapons are good, in my opinion, minus Kenny Galladay, who you're paying way too much money.
How big of a risk is Anthony Richardson?
At 11?
Yeah.
Not that big.
Really?
No, because if you fuck it up 2 years from now, you're taking somebody else.
Yeah, but we just did that.
Okay.
That's
and
I
what's your
just
point?
feel like you're doing the same damn thing over again. You're allowing yourself to get caught up in a quarterback that's extremely risky. And were we just going to be back in the same boat in 2 years? Are we going to be the Cleveland Browns? Are we going to keep chasing quarterback after quarterback after quarterback in the draft?
And the Kansas City Chiefs and the Los Angeles Chargers, and there's been a lot of teams that have chased quarterback after quarterback after quarterback. That's actually kind of the name of the league in the NFL. Yeah, you're going to keep chasing quarterbacks. I mean, all right, so here's my question. What's your alternative? What is your alternative?
I don't know. Who's your next quarterback?
Tanner McKee. He's 25 years old.
Yeah.
He's 25 years old. Jaron Hall, now I'm not going to lie. I considered Jaron Hall. I did consider
I
it.
haven't watched enough of Jaron Hall to go, yeah, definitely.
I have.
But
and
I feel
like
like
him. I'll be honest with you. Straight up, Anthony Richardson's not my next quarterback. He's not. I have him at 8.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm telling you, a team's going to fall for it. There's no doubt in my mind a team's going to fall for it.
And
they always do.
And it screams to you right now that it's the New York Giants.
No, it screams to me the Giants are picking at 11, and they're the team sitting here holding the empty poo bag going, we have to take something home to mother. We have to have somebody. We got nothing. And you're not going to sell New York on Tanner McKee. You're not going to do it. And and I'm going to be real honest with you, and you're going to tell me I'm crazy. Who do I pull for? The New York Jets.
Mm-hmm.
I know the New York media market really well, and I know New York fan base really well. You will never be able to take a BYU quarterback. If this Zach Wilson thing keeps going the way it's going, they will crucify you.
Okay.
Crucify you. And Jaron Hall's not nearly the prospect that Zach Wilson was. You just can't do it.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have flashy. You're going to have something to sell to the fan base. And to me, Anthony Richardson does that.
Okay, Anthony Richardson to the New York Giants.
Didn't say I loved it. Again,
I don't love it at all.
Cannot say enough. I didn't say I loved it.
This could very well be a decision that comes back to haunt them, much the way the Daniel Jones pick did. I just
Daniel
don't know
Jones
that
is a
you want to
different
take
guy.
that risk.
Daniel Jones is a different guy. Had you not taken Daniel Jones at 6, there's a possibility he would have been taken in the first round.
Mm-hmm.
Because, there were teams that were interested. Cool. How many of them would have pulled the trigger? Because I don't think it's many. Anthony Richardson won't make it out of the top 15. Somebody's going to fall in love. He's going to run a stupid number at the combine. He's going to throw a ball 7,000 yards at his pro day.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody's going to fall for it. Invariably, it's going to happen.
All right. Giants taking Anthony Richardson. The Broncos up next.
No,
No, their pick does not belong to them.
No,
That's right. That's right.
This is one of my favorite pairings of player with team. Number 12, the Seattle Seahawks take Antonio Johnson, cornerback, Texas A&M.
This dude's good.
He is real good.
He is good.
Real big, and he will hearken you back to the days of
I was
yore.
going to say he will hurt your feelings.
Tariq Woolen and him. Good luck.
Yeah.
Now it'll be bumpy and it's gonna take a minute. This kid played against slot guys last year. Now, this year he's playing more on the outside and doing more number one corner things. Kelly Ringo is close. The ding on him is always going to be, look how much freaking talent is around him.
Mm-hmm.
Look how much talent's around him, and some people are not going to be able to get past that. And then you get to Antonio Johnson and go, this is the long corner that we want. Physical, can do all of the things, and I think he fits quite nicely with Seattle. I like the fit a lot.
Okay. Trying to resurrect the Legion of Boom up there with the terrifying secondary.
Well, I mean, Pete Carroll loves long corners, as evidenced by taking Tariq Woolen.
Mm-hmm.
He likes the long-armed, can match up with anybody, and having those two together, that's some scary shit.
So he will play corner at the next level.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Oh, absolutely. He's a corner. Doesn't sound as good when I say he's a corner, but
all right, Antonio Johnson out of Texas A&M to the Broncos. The Cleveland Browns are next. Oh, no, they're not. This is the Houston Texans, number 13 pick. So the Houston Texans started with Will Anderson. Now comes the quarterback? No. You're just sticking where Davis Mills. Davis Mills is our guy. And where do they go?
I think that's how they feel, is that Davis Mills is their guy. I've at this point, which would you rather do? Take the third-year vet that you know you found, everything's hunky-dunky there. I hit a button, and now I have bats.
Oh,
I did not mean to have bats. I apologize for the bats. Trying to do three things at once is much more difficult than it looks. I just think with the Texans, they're fine with Davis Mills. And I think they should be.
Mm-hmm.
If you remember, I've always believed in Davis Mills more than you have and more than other people have. I think he's a good quarterback. And there's a player here that I find it very difficult that you're going to pass. 13th pick, the Houston Texans select Brian Breeze. Big motherfucker from Clemson.
Yep.
You add Will Anderson and Brian Breeze. You won. Congratulations. But what about targets? You have 2 picks in the second round, too. And this is a draft that is flush with receivers.
Yeah, it's a deep draft.
Not like you're going to run out of talent. That completely rejuvenates your front four.
When it comes to Brian Brzee, what does he bring?
First of all, it's not Brzee.
It is.
If it's Brzee, there should be a fucking Z in it. All right, I have a child named Breezy. Throw a Z in there. Learn English with your names. That's Oakway Boodum.
It's the official pronunciation of his name is Brzee.
The official pronunciation is wrong.
Okay. Jeremy knows all. Tell us.
I just know English.
Tell us what kind of what kind of defensive tackle you're going to get in him.
10 years ago, there's no chance he would have fallen this far. I do think there is a chance that he could fall into the beginning of the teens. Very plus run defender, very plus pass rusher. He kind of reminds me of Quinnen Williams, if I was being really honest. That's just the kind of impactful nature that I see out of him. And he's hyper athletic. The knock on him could ultimately be, and what the reason that I think he could end up here, look at what you have around him. This Clemson defense has playmakers on every level. If my projections hold to form, there are 7 future or current first-round draft picks on that roster. That's a lot. And so the question is he going to be like Quinnen Williams, where he goes to New York, he's the only guy, and he doesn't really do shit for 3 years? Well, you can mitigate that with Will Anderson.
You can. And immediately you have revamped the defensive front, added some pass rush, and with the picks that you made this past season, you're starting to build something there. Fans love offense, and so I feel like there will always be detractors who say, "Oh, but we need a wide receiver or whatever. We need a quarterback. Davis Mills is not it." I feel like that's going to continue to be the linchpin or the That's your side. You got to pick a side with the Houston Texans fans. Either you're believing in the process with Davis Mills, or we have to have a quarterback now.
And I'm not there.
All defense.
And I'm not there. I think you're better off with Davis Mills, and the defense is just brutal in places. If I'm Houston, I'm taking the number one player on my board, and I don't really care what position he plays. I'm not jumping in line. Look at the Detroit Lions.
Mm-hmm.
Learn from them. Speaking of the Detroit Lions.
They're next up in the 2023 way too early mock draft.
I considered going a lot of different places here because the Lions have
defense.
And that's what I came back to.
Defense.
I mean, can I shoehorn a quarterback in here? Yeah. I'm not sure that Jared Goff's not going to show himself to at least be serviceable.
I think he's already shown that he can be serviceable, and I think you're going to learn as the season goes along, and these weapons, they grow together, they congeal a little bit, and then you get Jameson Williams back, and you're going to go, oh, shit, well, this is fine with Jared Goff. See, this is a situation where I look at Davis Mills and go, I don't know. Now, I know with Jared Goff, I know he's not the future. But also, if I'm Detroit, I don't know that I need to jump out and get the future guy now.
And I don't know that I care that he's – I don't know that I care. I'm not going to make a mistake. And knowing the guys in this front office the way I do, they're not going to make a mistake. They're going to go with the 14th pick, the Detroit Lions select Kelly Ringo.
Ooh, going corner.
At the very worst, you're going to need a third.
Mm-hmm.
I think you need a starter because Okudah just is not doing it for me. And you look at the way that Aaron Glenn plays defense, and you've hit some things in the front seven, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the fact that you gave up 38 points last week, that makes you think maybe we're missing something.
Somebody that Dan Campbell will definitely love having on his team. He fits the culture. He is that hard-nosed, just smack you in the mouth kind of a corner. I feel like he's got all of the tools to be a star at the next level.
I would agree. I think he's very talented. There's a little raw to his game. There have been some plays where it was very obvious that he relies on the players around him. So you're going to have to reform some of the technique.
Mm-hmm.
That just happens when you have players that play on that good of a defense. Okay, so you can do that when you're surrounded by blue chippers. What are you going to do when you're the fourth best player on a defense?
Right.
The minute you show up here. And so that's why I have him. That's why I have him behind Antonio Johnson. It's not by much, but just a little bit.
Next up, the Washington Commanders.
I have a feeling Commander fans are going to absolutely love this pick when they see it. Because he is, what's that word that Brian Haynes used to use all the time?
A hogamolly.
A hogamolly. With the 15th selection in the never too early mock draft, Washington Commanders select Peter Skoronski, offensive tackle, Northwestern.
He's a tackle.
He a dog.
He's a tackle. He's a tackle.
Yeah, I ain't falling for it again. And I said it with Rashawn Slater. I thought Rashawn Slater was a guard.
Mm-hmm.
I have no misgivings about what Peter Skoronski is. This kid's very, very talented. I mean, you got to understand, there's no talent around him either. So you can avoid him to the highest degree. This is as plug and play of an offensive lineman as you're ever going to see. Is his high side as high? No. Do I think he has the 5-time All-Pro in him? No, probably not. He could play in a couple Pro Bowls, but you are plug and play immediately. That's your left tackle the second you draft him. And a little birdie has told me for quite some time that Washington feels like their next quarterback's already on the roster.
Shocker.
And his name is Sam Howell.
Tried to tell you. The Tennessee Titans.
Tennessee needs stuff.
Well, the first thing comes to mind is a wide receiver.
Yeah, you need somebody that can. You need somebody that can. What's that? Stretch a defense.
Mm-hmm.
With the 16th selection in this here procedure,
Prison booty. Booty was more important than food. Booty, a man's butt.
Kayshon Boutte.
Mr. Boutte, he's the next LSU great to come in and make an impact on the NFL.
I think he is a very good receiver that had a very bad game, and that's going to push him down for a lot of people that will never forgive what they saw against Florida State on national television where he just got completely taken out of the game.
Mm-hmm.
I also have been doing this for a minute and have learned that evaluators can forgive one. When the natural talent is that good, I can forgive one. And I think that's what's going to happen here because the drop-off, there is one more. But as I said, there are people that have some questions about him and his high-end ability.
Mm-hmm.
If you're drafting because I need a no-doubt playmaker dog to put on the other side of Treylon Burks, it's Kayshon Boutte.
The Pittsburgh Steelers
Would probably be the happiest team on the planet Earth if this worked out the way that it's worked out here. Because there's more than one player that you could look at and go, yeah, we can do that.
Okay.
I mean, biggest need is what?
Quarterback.
You've already taken a quarterback. I mean, look, I know you hate Kenny Pickett.
Quarterback. Kenny Pickett. Sucks. I don't like him at all.
God, I didn't think anybody was going to hate Kenny Pickett more than I did. Found a way.
Yeah, no, not a fan. No. Biggest need? Offensive line.
You've got to have somebody on the offensive line.
Mm-hmm.
And there is a player that falls right in your lap. And the biggest drawback on him is not really a problem with the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Okay.
With the 17th pick in the never too early mock draft, Pittsburgh Steelers select Paris Johnson Jr.
Out of Ohio State. Where does he fit in with the Steelers front?
I think ultimately he's a left tackle, and that's where he would be in time. I'm just not sure he's ready to do that off the jump. I know, but Notre Dame. Yeah, watch that tape a little closer. Watch that tape a little closer. I think he is a player that can come in and start immediately at guard. Mm-hmm. Probably come in and start immediately at right tackle with the intention of we're going to get you to the left side. Pittsburgh's a team that doesn't tend to throw guys to the wolves, and I think starting him out as a tackle is slightly throwing him to the wolves.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, a lot of people will look at him and you know, look at the Michigan game last year and go, is he ready to step up to that next level to deal with the pass rushers of the NFL?
Well, you're going to learn a lot about him over the course of the year. And if he holds up and they get into the playoff, so long as he doesn't dookie in his own pants, he's probably no worse than the third offensive lineman taken. And you just know there's not a lot of downside here. The upside may be limited because I don't think Peter Skoronski is safer. And I also think he's a no doubt left tackle. Worst case scenario, you played Paris Johnson at guard and you're fine. And do you love taking a guard at 18? No, but if you're the Pittsburgh Steelers, it's your biggest need by a mile.
Again, we are the Sportsocracy, and we are live in the Ingles studio, and this is our way too early mock draft, or excuse me, the never too early mock draft, volume number 2, because Jeremy just loves his never too earlys.
I do. Never too early for a beer, never too early for a mock draft.
Right.
Hard to drink all day if you don't start in the morning.
If you are new to the program, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Join us in the chat as we roll off the never too early mock draft here. And we are live every weekday afternoon, 3 to 6, right here in the Ingles studio. Ingles Supermarkets, low prices. Love the savings.
I just want to address a couple of things that were said in the YouTube comments.
Okay.
One was from Stephen Westbrook's talking about the Lions, saying that they needed linebackers. I don't disagree with you. The more time goes on, the less that teams are sinking legitimate capital into that. In terms of the outside linebackers, you got Charles Harris and Aiden Hutchinson. I don't really see a player there that is going to be an immediate impact in that way. An off-ball linebacker and a 3-4, you already got Malcolm Rodriguez, all right? Alex Anzalone. You're going to do better down the line. That's just not a first-round pick kind of thing.
Rodriguez is not bad.
No, I like him a lot.
Yeah.
Had a great first game, too. And Jeff Okudah showed himself nicely against Devontae Smith. But having a third corner does not hurt. And I think pushing Ora, you know who I'm talking about. I can't say it. There's one name in this league that I cannot say.
Okora?
No, Amani Ora. I can't say the fucking name. Oruwariye?
Yeah.
I cannot. There's too many fucking R's. I cannot say it. I look at that name and go, the other guy.
That guy.
And I can hear it a billion times. I still cannot make my mouth make that noise.
Gotcha. Like Okuwebunam.
Like Troy Aikman. Yeah, like Troy Aikman was doing with Okuwebunam. I do the exact same thing.
Indianapolis Colts.
This one was not hard. '18th pick in the never too early mock draft. This is where you get Jordan Addison. Jordan Addison, Michael Pittman. End of message.
Yikes.
Repeat the line.
Yikes. You have
with Jonathan Taylor, by the way.
Yeah.
And Jelani Woods, who once he figures out how to play tight end in the NFL, is going to be a bit of a problem.
Mm-hmm. You got Matt Ryan there for a couple of years, and you got to get the most out of your aging quarterback. Give him all the weapons in the world. That's the one thing that I was surprised that they did not do this offseason was bring in a wide receiver.
Well, you didn't have a whole lot of options. I mean, they made a run at Allen Robinson. He wanted to be in L.A. Mm-hmm. Not a lot I can do about that. I can't force you to want to come to Indianapolis where it's coldish. But there you are.
Mm-hmm. So they will add to the offense. They will get a wide receiver. Then you will have a legitimate 1-2 punch.
Stephen Westbrook said, I finally got Oruwariye correct.
Oruwariye.
It just feels like I'm wearing somebody else's dentures, and I can't make it. It doesn't sound right.
How about the Miami Dolphins?
Well, it would be remiss if we didn't point out that the Dolphins are supposed to have 2 picks in a row right here.
Yeah, but that's not happening.
Cheaters can't be cheaters. And for me, this was tough because I was conflicted. Do you take a position that is not greatly valued in your offense, but is important, and there's a player on the board that is exponentially better than anybody you've ever had? Or do you take who I value to be the best player left on the board?
I'm going to say best player.
That's where I went to.
Okay.
Oh, no. Sorry, I got confused where I had to. With the 19th pick in the draft? 20th? I mean, they forfeited 19, so technically this would be 20, but I don't want to take one pick off every time we do it.
It'll be the tweener.
The Miami Dolphins select Trenton Simpson, linebacker, Clemson.
Love this kid.
He's
hard all over the field.
It's really hard to not love him. I mean, if you watch that game against Georgia Tech, he jumped off the screen.
Mm-hmm. You
fall into the same questions with him that you fell into with the other Clemson guys. How much of how good you are is because of who plays around you. There's nothing you can do about that. This kid's a freak of nature. I am not a fan of taking linebackers this early, but it just is what it is. It just is what it is.
There's still value. There's still value to linebackers. It may not be a premier position, but when you have a chance to get somebody like a Trenton Simpson, I feel like you got to take your shot.
And the funny part of this is the team picking after them with the 20th pick, the Philadelphia Eagles, was basically sitting back going, we're taking whichever back you don't take. You took the linebacker. We're going to take the running back. With the 20th pick in the 2023 Volume 2 Never Too Early mock draft, the Philadelphia Eagles select Bijan Robinson.
Yeah, I don't like it. It's
And
Miles
why?
Sanders season. It's Miles Sanders season.
God.
He's the guy.
Oh, God.
He's the guy. We don't need another one. I've had enough of Boston Scott and that other guy, Kenny Gainwell. Let Miles Sanders have his day.
I mean, that'd be fine if he was a good, legitimate bell cow running back, but he's not. I'm not saying this would spell the end of Miles Sanders. I actually think this would be the best thing that ever happened to him.
Okay.
The between the tackles work goes to Bijan Robinson. Miles Sanders can be that, hey, I'm going to get a step on you, and then I bees fast real good.
Mm-hmm.
Go full road runner.
Yep.
Just, poof. Miles Sanders has been banged up because he's a little itty-bitty running back that's not built to be running between the tackles. Doesn't really matter that much in college. It matters a lot in the NFL.
Mm-hmm. So Bijan Robinson comes in, and he will be the between the tackles guy.
And Bijan Robinson's the highest-rated running back that I've had since Saquon Barkley. He is a do-everything running back. Mm-hmm. And you know how I feel about taking running backs in the first round of the draft.
Never, ever.
I'm not saying I would do it. This is if the draft was today. This is how I think it would go.
Mm-hmm. Bijan Robinson is going to be a first-round draft pick. There's no question about it. What you see from him on the field, he pops on every time he touches the ball. You're like, there's something special in that kid. He's got breakaway speed. He can get mean with linebackers. I think he's got it all.
He is as good as I've ever seen a running back. And I'll be honest with you, the tape against Alabama was impressive to me. Not because of what he did, but because he was completely bottled up. I mean, completely bottled up. That would have been the perfect opportunity to see a kid go full Kayshon Boutte. And he didn't.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't. He was in there doing the small things. He's in there doing the everything you could possibly ask of a running back, in spite of the fact that you're putting up nothing statistically. Nothing statistically. That actually did more for me than even if he'd had a 140-yard game.
Yeah, than seeing a big stat line.
Seeing a running back that was not afraid to get in there because he's not a great blocker. He's fine.
He's a willing blocker.
Oh, God, I hate that term so fucking much. But to see that in a game where you're getting very little.
How is his bend? We've not yet said anything about anybody's bend.
It's a little early to be talking about somebody's bend.
Okay.
All right, bend is what we get into when February rolls around, and Jeremy would rather watch September college football tape than live-action NBA basketball.
Right. The sports landscape is a ghost town. That's when you get into bend. Next up,
the Las Vegas Raiders.
Did we skip something?
No.
Are you sure?
The Dolphins forfeited pick. We did skip the Dolphins forfeited pick.
Yeah. And then it went Saints.
You got to remember the way the playoffs break down. It can't be 7 AFC teams in a row at the back end of the draft order.
Ah, yes. Okay. I was like,
yeah, somebody has to make it to the Super Bowl in the NFC.
You said we're going by the power rankings, and I was like, well, that's the Saints are next.
Yeah, somebody physically has to win games in the NFC. And the Saints wouldn't be next. That was the Philadelphia Eagles pick.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's trades.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
Teams trade picks. It doesn't just. This is not like Madden in the mid 2010s where they traded all their picks. Not now they didn't.
Not anymore.
This would probably be one of my favorite picks of the draft with the Las Vegas Raiders, and it's a guy who I'm gonna say you probably have a thing or two to say about him. With the 21st pick in the Never Too Early Volume 2 2023 mock draft, Las Vegas Raiders select Broderick Jones. Go ahead. You have nothing to say about one of the best players on your team.
I got nothing.
This is a name you should get familiar with. Come April, I won't be shocked if he's the first lineman off the board. Won't shock me in the absolute freaking least. I'm just not there yet.
Mm-hmm.
He has every physical tool, but he's barely played. barely played. Been very impressive when he has played. It's a little bit of a projection. All right, the Draft Network, by the way, has him at 4. And I saw that and
weird.
went, that seems very aggressive. Like, you're, I mean, I understand projecting, but good God.
Yeah.
To the Bears, by the way.
Yeah. No, I don't have an opinion yet.
He has,
like you said, I haven't seen enough of it. Like him and Eric Gilbert.
Stop putting Eric.
I keep
Eric
seeing
Gilbert has as many fucking catches as I do. Stop putting him in the first round of mock drafts.
Right. I keep seeing him thrown out there and like, guys, we all agree that he's a hell of a talent. He's hella good, if you will. But
I hate that you're making that a thing.
I'm just gonna keep doing it.
I despise that you're trying to make that a thing.
T-shirts. I'm getting T-shirts. He's hella good.
I hate that you're trying to make that a thing.
Anyway, yeah, Eric Gilbert is I mean, he's like the ghost. No, we haven't seen him do anything. Stop putting him in the first round. Is he gifted? Yes. Have we seen him do anything other than block a couple of dudes? No.
I mean, I think he's only played 15 snaps.
He hasn't played much. He didn't play at all last year.
I could make an argument. He's the third most likely Georgia tight end to end up getting picked in the first round of a draft. And I always say that because
Absolutely.
Brock Bowers is not eligible for this one.
And if he was, he'd be a top 10 pick.
I would agree with that. He would be where Michael Mayer went, and the next team up on the board would be so much happier than they are.
And then Darnell Washington will be a third-round pick at some point.
I'm going to say it could be higher than that.
Higher than that?
It could be higher than
Okay.
that. He could be one of those players that come draft night, you see him go in the middle of the second, and you're like, he had like 30 catches. Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
They saw what they needed to see. It's a projection.
Right.
They're fine.
But no, that's how I feel about Broderick Jones. I haven't seen enough of him to come up with my own opinion.
It's certainly a projection because there's not a lot of tape, but what there has been to see, good God Almighty, it is good.
Again, I feel like it's the fact alone that he is playing and being really good on an offensive line at Georgia tells you pretty much all you need to know, because they're becoming as good as any school at churning out offensive lineman after offensive lineman after offensive lineman. After the Raiders,
the Minnesota Vikings. There are a lot of things that I'm sure they would like. I feel like the offensive line is in good shape. That's about the only thing that you couldn't upgrade to some point. But there's one position that's above the others, and it's at corner. With the 22nd pick in the 2023 Never Too Early mock draft, it's Eli Ricks, cornerback out of Alabama. I did not originally have him going in the first round. Mm-hmm. That's a name that people will see this low and go, but.
There was a time where he was projected to be a top 5 pick in this draft class. But
and he could be again.
Obviously there was the transfer, and then he had some off the field troubles, and I feel like all of that plays.
It does all play. It does all play, especially with Minnesota. They would do an extensive background check after going through the Jeff Gladney, unfortunately, who ultimately passed away.
Right.
Going through that, they're not going to take somebody with character issues until they check it out. That being said, he's the best corner on the board, and it's not particularly all that close.
Mm-hmm. Where do you rank his coverage skills?
Eli Ricks?
In this class.
I don't like him as much as the ones that have gone in front of him. And there's a tier. I mean, this is where you get to a team like Minnesota. Are you picking a 22? He has an ability in the right system to be a very good, not great corner. He could also be out of the league in 4 years, and it wouldn't shock me in the least.
Mm-hmm.
You get to a point where you take the risk. You don't take that risk on a guy at 10. you take that risk when you get to the 20s.
Right.
And so I'm not as bullish on him as everybody else is. I tend to be lower on him actually than other people are. Doesn't mean I don't think he's a good player. Just I'm nervous about certain things.
Okay.
Having him on the same team with Patrick Peterson, you could certainly do worse than that.
All right, at number 23, the Cincinnati Bengals.
Would it be bad of me to give them a left tackle?
No. I think we proved this already. I mean, I get it's only been a week, but the left side of that line got absolutely demolished.
It's only a week.
Mm-hmm.
Always remember that.
But this is where the trouble spot's going to come in all season long.
And
Jonah Williams at the left tackle, and who's the new guard on the left side?
Oh,
because it was supposed.
Damn
to,
it! If you hadn't asked me,
it was supposed to be Carmen, but Carmen
he got beat out. Cordell Volson.
Cordell Volson, that's right, out of Tennessee.
No,
right.
North Dakota State.
Oh, okay.
Or North Dakota State.
Yeah, okay.
Cordell Volson.
All right, so you're going to give him a left tackle?
I'm not, because there's not one that really fits here.
Okay.
I would love to give you one. I just would be grasping at straws, and you know what? I've come to love Bengal fans, and I want to make you happy, and I feel like this player would make you very happy. With the 23rd pick, the Cincinnati Bengals select Andre Carter II, edge rusher, Army.
Okay.
He is a dog. He's probably my favorite player in this draft class.
You love that phrase.
I do love that phrase. And I love this kid. Now, you got to realize, he's playing with 99.9% of a roster that knows they have zero future, although they do have a safety that we will talk about closer to come April. Little deep diving for me to get into right now. But he also a dog.
Right.
Army's going to be a fun team for me to bet this year. But edge rusher's not their biggest need. Yeah, and safety wasn't their biggest need last year. But you took Daxton Hill. You know why? Because Deem's in a Super Bowl window. Go, ooh, what can help us right now? That left tackle thing, you know what? We'll slide Jonah Williams into guard, which Jeremy said 2 years ago. And we'll find a left tackle that can come in and plug and play right now. Any player you take here is not going to be that. There's just not. Cincinnati is too good. You're not going to get a plug and play offensive tackle in this draft. Somebody asked me earlier, and I apologize that I didn't get to the question until now. What are the deepest positions in this draft? Quarterback is one. I told Tank earlier, I live by a 4x4x4 model with quarterbacks. Most drafts, there are 4 quarterbacks that could ultimately start in the NFL. Not necessarily immediately, just they could be starters in the league. Mm-hmm. 4 career backups, 4 guys that belong in the league, but you really don't want to see them play. This year, it's more like 6x8x10.
Wow.
This is the deepest draft class I've ever seen for quarterbacks. And I feel like one of these teams at the back end of the first round is going to do that. Maybe.
All right, but Andre Carter comes off the board from Army, and he can bring the pressure. He's explosive. You just don't see it enough.
I have watched too much Army football solely because I want to see him.
Mm-hmm.
I watched, and I can't remember who UTSA? A, I bet it. B, I wanted to watch Andre Carter.
Mm-hmm.
He's just so damn talented. And you know it's coming, and it still doesn't fucking matter. They know there's nobody else that can dominate us like he can. Still gets home.
Mm-hmm.
Still gets home. Regularly.
All right, next up, in the never too early mock draft, my Tampa Bay Buccaneers at 24.
It is now time for your poopy Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Poopy. Well, I mean, we'll be without Tom Brady, so yeah, this is going to be the start of the shit years.
Yeah, this is the start of poopy time. Which is why with the 24th pick, you select Tanner McKee, quarterback out of Stanford.
Okay, I can take it.
We should, because there are a few teams in this league that are going to be okay with how old he is. It's been a little brittle.
And we don't have a problem with old players.
But it's no shit. That's kind of right. Comes out of a run-first offense at Stanford. but the good with him is very, very good.
And I like his vision. It's the one thing that I like about him is that he seems to know where his receivers are going to be at any given time.
Outside of Stroud and Bryce Young, I could make the argument Tanner Key's the most NFL ready of all the quarterbacks in this draft. Now, like, he kind of falls into the Kenny Pickett thing of he's older than everybody else, so of course he's more ready. But I think there's actually something there. I could see a path that he comes in and is a day one starter for Tampa Bay with Tom trying to patch things up with the Bunchen.
Mm-hmm. We know this is his last year.
The Bunchen.
He's not going to be able to do this again.
No.
He's not going to. You might be able to get away with it once, but the second time you try to pull this I'm retiring bullshit and then renege on it, yeah, that's going to be the end of it.
Yeah, you can pull the I'm going drinking with the boys once. It's that second time you try to do it.
Exactly.
That's where you wind up with your shit on the front yard.
Right. We know this is the last ride for Tom Brady. And so the question becomes, will the Tampa Bay Buccaneers look at this quarterback class and go, we have to have one because Kyle Trask ain't it?
Either that or you'll be one of the teams that's out there trying to make moves on Garoppolo or Baker Mayfield. I don't ask for much.
Stop that.
I really don't.
Put that shit out there in the universe. I don't need that, okay?
I don't ask for much, okay? I am a simple man of simple means. But if you could put Baker Mayfield on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, it would do so much for me.
Yeah.
It would make me so happy.
Not going to happen. Not going to happen. I don't hate this pick at all. Tanner McKee at number 24 to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to take over for Tom Brady. You'll still have the idiots in the crew, the Buccaneer fan base, that will say, oh, but Kyle Trask is so good. He was so good at Florida. Yeah, we know he was the quarterback of your shit team in college football. I don't care. I've seen nothing from him that gives me any faith that he's going to turn into a starting level quarterback in this league.
So Chris Oder asked in the YouTube comments, I thought Tanner McKee's only 22. He is, but 22 is pretty old for a quarterback coming in because he'll be 23 by the time he's drafted. 23-year-old rookie is rather old for a quarterback. I mean, I'm not saying he's 29.
Right.
But he's older than the rest of the class. I think I may have said 25 earlier.
I think you did.
I'm doing three things at once, so apologies. If I fuck anything up, I'm sorry.
All right, after my Bucs at number 25.
The Kansas City Chiefs, with the 25th pick, select Brandon Joseph, safety out of Notre Dame. Them starting with 2 losses is going to put a little bit of a piddle in the punch bowl of Mr. Joseph, and it shouldn't. One of the best safeties I've ever seen. Been a clunky-ish start at Notre Dame. Give it time. So hyper athletic. I compared him to Kyle Hamilton before he ever played a down at Notre Dame. You add him to that Kansas City defense, he a dog. He a dog. I mean, I'm sure they'd like to have another receiver, but it's fine. We'll do that in a round.
Right. We don't need to spend the high draft capital on that.
Brandon Joseph is a tremendously talented player that I'm afraid is going to fall through the cracks, and he's going to end up with one of those teams like the Ravens or the Eagles or the Kansas City Chiefs. Those teams that just draft ridiculously well, and they sit back and they let that player fall right in their laps. That's what he strikes me as. I mean, I've watched both Notre Dame tapes, and no, he hasn't really shown on tape yet. I put way more of that on Marcus Freeman than I do on him.
At number 26, the Philadelphia Eagles.
Now, this is where it gets a little fun. Because Philadelphia already got Bijan Robinson. All right, so you filled a need. You don't have a ton of other needs. That's a super talented team. Now, you're probably a little pissed that Brandon Joseph just went right in front of you.
But
trying to get there. Vamp for just a second because I just screwed something up. Da-da-da-da-da. Throw out a sponsor. Do us something.
I was going to say I feel like Philadelphia, they could use another player in the secondary. I mean, I get that they've upgraded, but how long do you have with the current core? You've already kept adding to the defensive front. You've got linebackers on the rise with the pick of Nakobe Dean. So I would feel like that's where they should go here. You don't need a wide receiver. You've already got that covered. You got A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. Do you in the first round, late in the first round, you go another wide receiver?
I could see a path. And it's not where I'm going.
Or an offensive line.
You're going to have to give me a second because I got to fill out the rest of the draft because now I can't go back to what I did.
Oh, dear God. Now you have to fill out every pick?
No.
Oh,
no, I just can't. Once it goes up next time, I can't take it back down. So
I got you.
I did a dumb thing. You're going to have to help me.
Oh, I can't help you much. But I would say, secondary or offensive line is where I would go if I was the Philadelphia Eagles at this point.
I'm going linebacker.
You're going linebacker.
I am going linebacker with Noah Sewell.
All right, now where does he slot in?
To me, it's him and Nakobe Dean. I think you can play them beside each other. They do different things. You're going to have to get some I consider it a pass rusher because, Derek Barnett's not one.
Mm-hmm.
Philadelphia lives by the mantra of we take the best player. I know. I heard it last year. Philadelphia doesn't take off ball linebackers in the first round. I get that. Noah Sewell is a little bit different of a guy. You can just use him in a lot of different ways. He's a very modern NFL football player.
Mm-hmm.
Hyper athletic. I like him a lot.
Noah Sewell to the Philadelphia Eagles. Who's next in your draft order? The Ravens?
Baltimore Ravens.
Oh, that's not true. They're going to be picking 32nd, or 31st, and you know it.
Oh, good God. You're just drunk on Baltimore.
I'm drunk on the Baltimore Ravens.
In spite of the fact that you have literally already seen the Buffalo Bills just scatter, smother, and cover
the
defending Super Bowl champions.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, you know what? I like Baltimore. I do.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't like them as much as Buffalo.
So the Baltimore Ravens, who's that player? Who's that player that has dropped on the draft board here that is just right for the picking for the best drafting team in the NFL?
With the 27th pick, the Baltimore Ravens take Siaki Ika from Baylor.
Okay.
Formerly of LSU.
He's the guy?
I like him a lot.
Not Nolan Smith?
I like Nolan Smith. They already have two young edge rushers. Now, you've already got David Ajabo. You've already got Odafe Owa.
Yeah, but why wouldn't you want another one?
I get it. Is Calais Campbell going to play forever?
No.
And I didn't think so.
No, he won't.
So at some point, you're going to need that big, gigantic bastard that can get to a quarterback, that can run stuff, that can do all the things. Well, there's only one of those in this draft class that can play up and down the front of a 3-4. Mm-hmm. It's Siaki Ika.
Okay.
And so that's where I fall in of, all right, you're the pick here for me for the Baltimore Ravens. I promise I'm going to get the graphic back up here in just a second. I'm struggling like hell. I didn't realize when I hit the last pick that, oh, look, it all goes to shit.
Oh,
and
no.
so I'm trying to size it and do all the other things.
All right. Baltimore Ravens going interior of the defense. Who's next?
Next is... I can't see it.
Green Bay? I'm trying to remember.
It's somebody from the NFC. So it'd almost have to be.
I think
Green
it was
Bay.
Green Bay.
Probably should have written this down.
Yes.
And
it is Green Bay. Here we go. Green Bay is next at 28.
Oh, thankfully I remember their pick. Because, damn it, to high holy hell, take a fucking receiver. Josh Downs.
Oh, I would love it. I would absolutely love it. Josh Downs, obviously, in the North Carolina Tar Heels, he is one of the things that has made these quarterbacks look really good. Well, I can't say quarterbacks. He's one of the things that made Sam Howell look really good. Not so much with Drake May because he hasn't been available yet, but I can't wait. I can't wait to see a fully healthy Josh Downs with Drake May at quarterback for this Tar Heel team that they could put up points.
Oh, they score quite easily. That's not really the problem. The problem is they can't play dead in the Western on defense. But Josh Downs is going to put up ridiculous numbers.
Mm-hmm.
And so far, I need him to come back healthy. That's the thing that really is currently scaring me is I don't feel like anything happened there that should be. And I'm not trying to take a shot at his toughness or anything like that. That's not it. I don't like seeing receivers pick up that nagging injury and it nags forever.
Mm-hmm.
You're undefeated. I need to see you on the field. So I will be curious to see how he looks against Clemson. That's one of those tapes that could move him from back into the 20s. I think he could go as high as the mid-teens. I don't think that's too high.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, do you agree?
I
You're
do
more of a
agree.
Carolina guy than I am.
I do agree. I think the matchup there with the big physical corners that they have now at Clemson could go to proving a lot of how he will stand up to NFL competition. I love the kid so much.
Very good player.
And he can. I feel like he can do it all.
There we go.
Did
Got
you get
the
it?
graphic back.
You finally got it?
Yeah, that was kind of a bitch. Apologies for future ramifications or additions of this. I will know that when I hit the last pick, everything goes to shit in a handbasket.
Mm-hmm.
I did not know that.
To answer Chuck G's question in the comments, yes, they can play dead in a zombie movie. They can't play dead in a Western because that's harder.
Correct.
See, playing dead in a zombie movie, you can do whatever the fuck you want to as long as you do it slowly. Unless you're in that really weird zombie movie with Brad Pitt, World War Z.
Never seen them.
Where they were really fast.
Never seen it.
It's odd.
If they
Very
played
odd.
it on the back of my eyelids, I'd cut them off.
Yeah, playing dead in a zombie movie is much easier than playing dead in a Western. The Los Angeles Chargers have the 29th pick according to our power rankings.
Look, I understand that you've got Asante Samuel.
Mm-hmm.
You got J.C. Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
There's a player that falls in your lap right here that I don't think you can help but take. Cam Smith's a top 20 talent in this class. It just so happens there's not a ton of teams that actually need a corner that fall into this tier. I'm sure you would say it's the Philadelphia Eagles. I don't really tend to agree with you.
I feel like the Eagles could use one.
Cam Smith would be there too,
Mm-hmm.
and Asante Samuel would play out of the slot. And I think you saw at times against the Raiders, it's fun. I didn't see this coming. PFF put out a ton of things this morning. What team in the NFL set the high water mark for the fewest perfectly covered plays in week one?
The fewest perfectly covered plays. I guess it was the Chargers.
It was the Chargers. That was without J.C. Jackson. I get that. It's not a team that needs a ton. But I think Cam Smith falling in your lap right here would be a home run.
Okay. Next up in the Never Too Early mock draft.
Hey, it's that edge that Lions fans were looking for earlier. Nolan Smith.
Nolan Smith.
He's another one that I could see falling just a little bit. Not even because he should, but the sum of all parts that I've said with Georgia already, the fact that he doesn't pop on film as much as some of the other guys have on this defense, that could push him down.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that being said, he strikes me as about as much of a Dan Campbell guy as you could possibly ever have.
Mm-hmm.
He is one of those just tough, hard-nosed sumbitches that I feel like Dan Campbell would fall in love with immediately.
Yep. And the final pick in the first round of the 2023 Never Too Early Mock Draft Volume 2 Flostradamus' champion, Buffalo Bills, will take
Joey Porter Jr.
Okay.
Talk about a guy that really fits the defensive mindset. Joey Porter Jr. is one of those guys that I just look at and go, it's really easy to identify who your dad was. Just because he's got that junkyard dog to him that you don't often see out of corners. I feel like it's the bill of goods they were sold on Kyer Elam, and you're not seeing that yet.
Mm-hmm.
I think you will. Porter would come in as a slot guy to begin with, Kyer Elam on the outside, Tre'Davious White on the outside. He makes up for some of the deficiencies of Tre'Davious White. Tre'Davious very good in coverage. Not always the most willing to get up there and scrap it out in the run game.
Mm-hmm.
But Joey Porter on the inside.
And also focusing on other areas of need in the draft, because you're not going to have the ability to do that in free agency.
Oh, yeah.
With what you're spending on the quarterback, on the Von Miller deal, on Stephon Diggs, you've got other things to take care of there.
Broke is a headless hooker, and that's fine.
Keep adding pieces through the draft, and they've already done it with the edge spots. You've seen what they've done with Gregory Rousseau.
Oh, God, that was such a great pick.
Mm-hmm. And
that's the
AJ
first time.
Epinesa.
That's the first time I've been able to say Broke is a headless hooker in a long time.
Feel good?
It did feel good. Felt good. This whole thing felt good.
This
was a great idea.
Yeah, your never too early 2023 NFL mock draft. Volume 2 is in the books. Closing thoughts?
I love drafting things.
Yes, you do.
I'm a big fan of drafting things. All right, and we'll be back on the ESPN radio side tomorrow.
Yes, we will.
It will be fun to watch us try to tap dance talking about the college football slate because it's dookie water.
Yeah, not a whole lot to love about it.
Oh God, it's awful.
I do get to. I do hope I get to revel in the tears and the sadness of the Cock Commanders this weekend, though.
If you don't, you should call in dead for Monday.
Yeah, won't be here. Won't be here Monday.
After
Grandma died.
After the great kerfuffle was me betting South Carolina, telling you should be worried, and no, it's fine. Worried. And then you lost.
Well,
live on air.
I think we may have exorcised that demon. We may have exorcised that demon because Rodrigo got his. Unemployed, DMP dead. No more Rodrigo Blankenship in the NFL. Old Goggles finally gets his comeuppance for missing big field goals.
No more joggles for the Indianapolis Colts.
We will be back with you in the Ingles studio tomorrow at 3 o'clock, where we talk about college football, everything going on in the NFL as well. Get you ready for the weekend. And, of course, don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, so you can join us in the chat and get those alerts every time that we go live. Once again, this weekend, we're going to be hanging out at the Village Porch after the morning show at 10 a.m. on Sunday.
And we're going to go rapid fire with all your questions at 10 a.m. again. If you're a member of the Patreon, my rankings will be out tomorrow. So you'll be able to see my projections for every game, what I think that means for every player, and it will give you some low-key little wonderful tidbits on guys that you can pick up off waivers, different things like that. You also get access to the Discord where you can ask questions directly if you have start, sit, etc. questions. You can ask those to us in live time.
Indeed. We'll be back tomorrow afternoon at 3. Y'all have a great evening.